All right, so everyone's hyped about the live action How to Train Your Dragon remake. We've been digging through some articles and that awesome new trailer. And let me tell you the visuals. Oh man, the visuals are crazy good.
They are pretty incredible.
But I think what's got us really hooked is like how this new movie could go deeper,
Yeah.
like way deeper into all the important stuff, like the themes and everything, in ways animation just couldn't, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's what has me so interested. All the buzz online is about the visuals, like you said. Lots of comparisons to that Lion King remake. Some people are even saying it might be shot for shot the same.
Oh, wow.
But honestly, I think what's even more exciting is, well, how this live action thing, this whole format, it might, like, it could let a whole different type of magic happen on screen.
Hmm. That's a really interesting way to put it.
I know.
Haven't thought about it like that.
Well, think about it with animation, you know? They got to rely on all those stylized visuals to create that sense of wonder and magic. But with live action, it's like,
Yeah.
it's real, right? Tangible. So it can really make those fantastical elements like solid.
Right.
And it feels almost, I don't know, visceral. Imagine Toothless, like for real. His scales, like shimmering in the sun. And the weight of him actually taking off, that'd be a totally different experience.
Absolutely. It would be amazing. Oh, and speaking of bringing things to life, did you see what Gerard Butler said about it?
Yeah, what about it?
He called the film, get this, he said it's a game changer and an unforgettable classic.
Wow, high praise.
I mean, sure, he's in the movie, so he's going to say good things, but still, you can like feel it, that genuine excitement in his words.
Yeah, it's not just hype. What stood out to me was how he talked about those big themes, the magic, the escapism, and how this live action version could, you know, it could make that emotional connection for viewers even stronger.
Right.
And it makes sense because at its heart, How to Train Your Dragon has always been this story about challenging what you think you know and finding your place, right? Like where you belong in the world.
It's so true.
Those themes are like universal.
Yeah, they're universal. That's what makes this story timeless.
Exactly. And it's interesting, like super interesting, how those themes are explored through that. Well, that relationship between the Vikings and the dragon. You know how dragons have been this powerful symbol for like ever in mythology, fantasy, everything. They represent this untamed, this primal force that's like just outside our world.
It's true.
And by actually bringing them to life, like making them look and feel real, I think this movie could tap into that sense of wonder and mystery on a whole other level.
Oh, for sure. Especially with how much detail they put into creating them. The dragons, did you see Stormfly and Hookfang in the trailer? Whoa. It gave me chills.
Me too. Makes you think, doesn't it? Like how we might connect to those creatures differently now.
Yeah.
Because in the animation, they're almost mythical beings, right? But now with all this crazy detail, this realism, it feels like they're real animals, each one with its own like personality and presence.
Yeah. It's remarkable. It makes you wonder, like, does seeing them this way change how we see dragons as a whole?
It could. It's definitely possible. So for anyone who needs a refresher or, you know, maybe they're new to the whole world of Berk and everything, the story is about Hiccup, this like super inventive Viking, and he befriends a night fury, Toothless.
Right, and that friendship of theirs, it totally challenges that age-old conflict
Yeah.
between Vikings and dragons. It forces them both sides, I mean,
Yeah.
to confront all those prejudices, those deep-down prejudices that they have.
Exactly. And of course, there's that mention of an ancient threat. We read about it in one of the articles, remember?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't say much, but it definitely makes things more intense.
I know. Like, what could it be? And how will it change things for the Vikings and dragons?
That's what I'm dying to know. This isn't just some, you know, fantastical dragon adventure. It's a story that, like, reflects the human experience, those challenges that we all face.
Okay, so where does that leave us? Like, why should you, the listener, care about this live-action remake?
That's a good question. It gives us a chance to, like, revisit a story that speaks to the power of understanding and challenging our own biases. And of course, visually, oh man, visually, it's going to be stunning. A totally immersive cinematic experience. Who doesn't love a good dragon adventure?
Right. And they talked about all the technical stuff in one of the articles, like how they brought those dragons to life.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing, the CGI and all that filmmaking technology. They were saying how much detail went into creating the dragons. Even their scales shimmer in the light.
Wow.
I know.
It really shows how dedicated they are.
Yeah.
It's that attention to detail. That's what sets this apart, especially for fans who love the animated movies. It shows respect for the source material, right?
Yeah, totally.
And that's a big deal. It wins over even the people who are unsure about it all.
And did you catch that shot of Berk in the trailer?
Yeah.
It looked incredible. They really made it come to life, the whole world of the Vikings. With the wooden buildings and the ships in the harbor.
Oh, yeah. World building is so important, especially for a fantasy movie like this. It pulls you in, makes you feel like you're actually there, like you're stepping into this mythical world.
Yeah, like you're right there on Berk with Hiccup and Toothless.
Exactly.
It's like you're stepping right into the pages of a book, or in this case, onto the back of a dragon.
Speaking of which, what do you think about the cast? Mason Thames as Hiccup and Nico Parker as Astrid.
I think they're great choices. Both of them are crazy talented, and they're young. I'm curious to see what they do with the characters.
Yeah.
Especially the dynamic between Hiccup and Astrid.
Oh, yeah, their relationship.
It's such a great example of how the story goes way beyond, like beyond just dragons and adventure.
Absolutely.
It's about friendship, loyalty, even romance.
And we can't forget the humor. I bet Nick Frost as Gobber will be hilarious.
Oh, for sure. He was amazing in the animated movies.
He was perfect.
Humor is so important. For the whole How to Train Your Dragon thing,
Yeah.
it adds that lightness, that balance to the action and all the drama. Okay, so we've got these stunning visuals, a story that really pulls you in, and a talented cast. Plus that humor we were talking about.
It's all there.
What's not to be excited about?
Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in seeing how they handle that ancient threat, the one from the article.
Yeah, me too. What if it forces the Vikings and dragons to work together, like in ways they never thought possible?
That would be interesting. What kind of alliances could happen then? What would they have to sacrifice to face a challenge like that?
Man, just thinking about it gives me chills. All right, listeners, we need to know what you think. What do you think this ancient threat could be? Tell us in the comments.
It's going to be so cool to come back to this after the movie and see how it all plays out. Maybe this ancient threat will make the Vikings and the dragons really confront their fears and prejudices, and that'll change their whole relationship.
Ooh, I like that.
It would definitely tie into those themes we were talking about: understanding, acceptance, the power of unity, all that.
It would. It would be amazing. It's like a message of optimism woven into this thrilling dragon adventure.
That's what makes How to Train Your Dragon so powerful. It speaks to our desire for a better world.
Yeah.
A world where understanding and acceptance win.
That's beautiful.
It's a good thought.
I think we've officially hyped ourselves up for this movie. June 13th needs to hurry up and get here.
I'm with you. I'm so curious to see how they reimagine the world of Berk and introduce it to a whole new generation.
I know. And speaking of a new generation, we were talking about all that crazy CGI and filmmaking technology, the stuff they used to make the dragons.
Oh, right. Yeah, it really shows how far we've come, with filmmaking and everything. And I think for a story like How to Train Your Dragon, all those visuals, they're important. It's not just about making something that looks cool. It's about making the audience believe in it, really believe that these creatures could exist.
I read that too. The filmmakers actually studied real animals.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, to make the dragons look and move realistically. They even designed the scales to react to light, like the same way real reptile skin does.
Wow. That's amazing. You can really tell they put a lot of thought into it. It shows they understand what makes the story special.
Yeah, totally.
It's not just a copy of the animation. It's they're taking the heart of it.
Yeah.
And bringing it to life in a new way. And for fans of the original, it's they're saying, hey, we love this story too, and we're going to do it justice.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, what about the music?
Oh, the music.
Do you think they'll do something new or use the music from the animated movies?
Oh, man, John Powell's score is so good. It's iconic.
It is. It really adds to the whole feeling of the movie.
It would be cool if they could use some of those themes,
Yeah.
but give them a new spin,
Right.
like a live-action twist.
That would be awesome. It would connect the two worlds, but still let the new movie stand on its own.
Exactly. And we were talking about how the film explores, those ideas about understanding and prejudice. Do you think live action could actually make those themes even stronger?
It might. With animation, you gotta suspend your disbelief a bit more.
Yeah.
You accept that these crazy creatures are real, even if they don't look totally realistic. But in live action, with all that detail, it's you're forced to see them as real. It's the line between fantasy and reality gets blurry.
Yeah.
And that can be really powerful.
How so?
Well, when something looks and feels real, it's harder to just dismiss it as a monster or something scary.
So instead of just seeing dragons as these fantastical things, we might actually start to empathize with and understand them as living beings.
With their own thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
If the movie can do that, It'll be something truly special.
I agree. One of the things I love about How to Train Your Dragon is how it mixes those serious themes with adventure and humor.
Yeah, it's a great balance.
It's what makes it appealing to everyone, kids and adults.
You can be laughing 1 minute and then on the edge of your seat the next.
Oh, speaking of being on the edge of our seats,
Yeah.
what about that ancient threat we talked about? The one from the article.
Oh, right.
Any theories?
Hard to say without more information, but I think it'll be something that pushes both sides.
The Vikings and dragons?
Yeah. It'll make them face their fears and prejudices.
Ooh, that's interesting. So it could be something that threatens their whole world, something that forces them to work together to survive.
Exactly. And that's where the story could get really emotional, because when everything's at stake,
Yeah,
that's when you see what people are really made of.
it's true.
And in this case, it's Vikings and dragons.
So their true character comes out.
They have to make tough choices, sacrifices.
It makes you think about how Hiccup and Toothless will handle it.
Right.
They've always been about hope and understanding, but will that be enough?
Good question. And this is a live-action movie, right? So there could be new twists and turns. We might see new sides to the characters.
It's so exciting.
We get to revisit this story we love,
Yeah,
but see it in a whole new way.
and maybe even find new meaning in it.
Absolutely. You know, one thing I haven't heard much about is, well, what about all the new viewers?
Oh, yeah. The
But-
people who haven't seen the animated movies.
The original films came out a while ago.
Over a decade.
So there's a whole generation who will be experiencing this for the first time.
With this live-action version.
Exactly. For them, this isn't a remake. It's just How to Train Your Dragon.
It's their introduction to Berk, to Hiccup and Toothless, and all those important themes.
The friendship, the understanding, overcoming prejudice, all that.
It's awesome.
And who knows, maybe this movie will create a whole new generation of dragon fans.
That would be cool.
Maybe it'll get people interested in mythology and fantasy again.
I love it. Okay, listeners, we want to know what you think. How do you feel about this live-action version? Introducing How to Train Your Dragon to a New Generation. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, tell us. And what parts of the original movies are you excited to see?
Oh, and don't forget to share your theories about the ancient threat. We can't wait to hear them. So, everyone listening, mark your calendars. June 13th.
It's coming up fast.
And keep sending us your theories. We love hearing from you.
And tell us what you're most excited to see from the original movies.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive. Until then, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.